Tip number 1 is that you can reroll your account. This shouldn't be news to any gacha players out there, and just note that you cannot do this on PC, on Steam, or Epic at least. But if you're on mobile or if you're on an emulator like BlueStacks, on the title screen, you just click menu up here, and then you click delete user data. Generally, you only do this until you get a legendary for the class you want in your guaranteed legendary pack, but otherwise, I thought initially that it wasn't worth it. But then I realized you can re-roll until you get 100 packs in your park chest. It's a very, very, very low chance, but it is possible. And if you do get that 100 packs, your account is set up so well for this first set. It's gonna be a painful, horrible RNG experience, and I think for most people, you can still just play the game, but I'm letting you know that the option is there. Speaking of Shadowverse park chests, there doesn't seem to be an expiration on park chest keys. So if you have, you know, the Legends Rise pack basically completed and you want to save up your keys for the next set, that is totally something you can do, and I would even recommend it. The third tip is that at the start of your week, you should queue up in ranked from Shadowverse Park, because there's this mission right here, complete 5 matches in Shadowverse Park, and if you don't want to use the battle table and you want to just grind on ladder, you can just queue up from Shadowverse Park into ranked match like that, and it's essentially the same as just ranking on queue regularly, except this time you also progress that mission. This fourth tip is one that any Shadowverse player from the OG classic game needs to know. By default, details for cards are displayed on hover, and it's really disorienting and jarring because there seems to be a bit of a lag behind when the cursor hovers over the card for you. This is one of the first things I changed because it drove me crazy. What you want to do is go to settings, controls, set mouse and keyboard, and then over display card details, instead of hover over, you just click left click, and now it's exactly like it was in the OG game. For the fifth tip, you might also notice that I have play points listed next to my opponent's portrait rather than just on the side. I find this really useful because my eyes naturally gravitate towards the opponent's leader anyway, and now I get to see at a glance how many play points they have, so I can counterplay any of their potential moves. When it's only on the side here, I find that I often ignore it. The way you enable that is just through settings and then go to battle, display opponent's play points next to leader portrait. You see if I turn that off, it's gone, but I'm gonna leave it on because I really like it, and I think you probably should turn it on too. Speaking of settings, the settings menu is really, really robust in this game, especially compared to the first game. So the next tip is that you should probably turn on your confirmation settings. There are confirmation dialogues for every action, basically confirming end of turn, confirming when followers have yet to attack, when cards can still be played, when cards can still be played using a bonus play point, when they can be fused, when they can be engaged before evolving, with fusion, before engaging. By default, only some of these are turned on, but I think it's a good practice to actually turn on all of these to make sure you're thinking through your turns, because I'm guilty of this too, where I often just like play out my turns kind of mindlessly, and I end up making misplays because of it, especially if it's just a long day of grinding ladder. This helps you to remind yourself to make the optimal plays every time and not misplay. The next tip is that this game actually supports controller, not just mouse and keyboard. And not only does it support controller, it's pretty robust in that you can reassign basically every action. And like I said, you can also reassign basically every action on mouse and keyboard as well. You can switch between controller and keyboard mid-game, basically at any time. It's not perfect. I think the way the game implemented it in Shadowverse Champions Battle, the switch game is better. But if you don't want to play on mouse and keyboard, or if you're playing on a TV, then controller support is in the game. The final tip is definitely more niche, but this game does have a streamer mode. You click enable and it disables your messages tab, so you can't get unsavory text on screen that might get you demonetized or whatever. One additional feature of the streamer mode is that it also censors the players' names that you fight against on ladder. It just makes them named player. And that's it for this video. It's a quick one. Hopefully it helped you out. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, then you're sure to enjoy this one, where I talk about 7 ways to fix the Shadowverse economy.